Welcome. The topic of the day is digital transformation, and we have honored and privileged to have Mr. Pawan Agarwal here, who is the head of global IT at Wipro. So we wanted to hear from Mr. Agarwal how Wipro practices the digital transformation and how their employees have benefited from it and what technologies it entails. So let's dive into it. Welcome, Mr. Agarwal. We'd love to hear from you. What do you do from a Wipro role function perspective, and what kind of customer base are you addressing?
I'm part of CIO function at Wipro, and CIO function entails IT infrastructure and applications. That's how CIO is organized within Wipro. My role entails providing or taking care of IT infrastructure needs of Wipro 1,40,000 strong workforce. Apart from providing the IT needs of this 1,40,000 strong workforce, I'm also responsible for building infrastructure which can be used by Wipro to provide or take care of the IT needs of Wipro customers.
Now, as I started, everybody discusses digital transformation today, and that seems to have different meanings or different interpretations to many organizations, and everybody is in their journey of digital transformation. And by nature, transformation is not an end goal, but you're adapting. How are you seeing this, and how is Wipro taking on this particular opportunity?
See, digital transformation at Wipro, for what it means to Wipro. One, definitely when we look at digital transformation, the theme within Wipro is one, how do we enable our customers? When I say customers, it's being an IT company, it's two-pronged. One, the internal employees as well as the end customers. That's one. Second, in today's world, IT is also about giving customer experience. It's about providing the experience which the employees are looking at or the customers are looking at. So that's one important theme for us under digital transformation. Third, any IT, any CIO, any IT head you talk, he will talk about productivity, and definitely under digital transformation, it's one of the important theme for Wipro as well, wherein we are trying to see how we can optimize our OPEX and see whatever we save out of this OPEX or operational budget, how we can reutilize that to improve services, improve the experience of end customers. That's important. When we talk of these themes, at the end you need a platform, you need technology, you need products which can deliver these aspects to the customers, employees, and that's what is digital transformation is about at Wipro.
Now, you mentioned several constituents, employees, groups. Now, I'm sure within Wipro there are several business groups, there are several functional groups. What kind of pressure do they create for you? What do they expect from you? What models of changes are they driving for you to deliver from where you are, let's say, a few years ago or even today?
See, with the advent of all these new technologies, cloud, there are both to the employees as well as the business leaders, there are multiple avenues available for them to utilize IT. In a sense, today they are able to compare internal IT with services which are available on cloud. They have become smarter, they know what availability is provisioned, what is the cost of a certain service. Yeah. So they have become very, very demanding. They were demanding always, they have become more demanding now because they have understanding of IT. What it costs for IT to deliver certain things or certain applications or services. And a lot of this have come from the cloud services which are available, the SaaS services which are available in the market. Mm-hmm. That's one. And what they are looking at is, they are looking at services which are available all the time. For example, our CEO talks about IT infrastructure to be like air, which means it should be available always.
Very interesting.
Second, when it comes to customers, today the whole product life cycles have reduced drastically. People are looking at products and features which should be available to them within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months. Earlier the life cycle used to be 1 year, 2 years, but then they have reduced to anywhere between 3 weeks to 6 months time frame. And if you don't deliver some of these aspects, the opportunity is lost. And some of these requirements, the good aspect of this is today you have technology available, you have avenues available to deliver all this agility which businesses are expecting from you. It's for example, I'll give you an example where our own appraisal process, it used to be an yearly process earlier. A lot of companies did away with the bell curve and the annual appraisal. Our own HR head came back and said that we are doing away with this old methodology, and it's going to be a continuous process of giving feedback. And the cycle was brought down to quarterly. And as IT, and especially IT infrastructure, it used to be an hell for me to provide an infrastructure which could take care of that kind of requirement. Why is that? Because if you look at, if I provision an infrastructure, it will not be used throughout the year because appraisal is seasonal. And second, I'm sure this happens in a lot of companies wherein the employees will fill the appraisal only at the nth hour or the last minute. And then the infrastructure requirement for managing those 70,000, 80,000 concurrent connections, it used to be a failure every year, year on year. And then there used to be cases where the dates were extended from weeks to months so that the overall appraisal cycle is taken care. Now we have adopted cloud. I don't have to worry about scaling of the infrastructure. I would say first time in the history of our company, HR has been very, very happy with CIO functions. We have been able to deliver one, agility. We have been able to ensure that people are able to complete their appraisals. Second, it's not only about infrastructure. When we designed this new application, we also ensured that some of the cases, for example, there are a lot of times employees are traveling. We ensured that the application provided that ability that they could fill their appraisal offline, and whenever they are online, the data will sync on to the application online, which means we solved one, which is infrastructure problem, which is second, we ensured that people are able to complete their appraisal on time. The application is available all the time. They can use it offline, which means we solved multiple problems for them. And I would say the whole infrastructure application, the products which are available and the technology which is available is allowing us to make this available for the businesses. And that's how digital transformation is helping.
It's really a wonderful example there, where you said, I guess for the first time at least, the HR function is sincerely grateful to you in terms of, hey, we're able to do this seamlessly. And I'm sure the employee experience also at the end of it would have been really nice because, like you described, they were able to do it anytime, any place, at their convenience, and with a responsiveness.
That's right.
That this sort of younger generation of workforce today, has begun to expect. And you also made a very interesting point about many of the the younger employees are also modern consumers of the cloud at home and in their personal life. So their expectations of technologies has certainly evolved. It's a phenomenal story of how we were able to brought it together. Now, in terms of you mentioned cloud a couple of times, and you also mentioned that you were able to scale even when people were compressing, their timelines. I'm equally guilty of finishing up a lot of those assessments and completions in the last 6 hours or 8 hours. Let's step back and talk about cloud, right? I mean, you also mentioned infrastructure earlier. large enterprises, medium enterprises today always have this debate of how much should I own, how much should I build, how much should I put on the cloud, what's the right model, and how to make that decision. So how's been Wipro's journey in that, and where are you today on that journey?
See, to start with, we had good number of questions. In a sense, how will the applications work if some of them are on-prem, some of them are on cloud, and we had a I would say, good number of questions we had initially. Whether it will really work, will it improve the experience of user, or it will add to the latencies which will defeat the purpose of having a good user experience. And that is how I would say that is how we started, and we started with small applications, especially DevOps. But then we realized that the kind of agility which cloud was bringing in. For example, we talked about all our customers or business asking for making some of these VMs or the infrastructure available within no time. And it used to be a struggle because in a sense that you will build for a capacity, the capacity will go out in no time, and then you are back to same place wherein it will take months to build that infrastructure once again. And then you were losing out on customer, you were creating a bad impression about internal IT, not only in front of business, but also with customers. So we realized that cloud gave us that opportunity to improve on our provisioning time. That's one important aspect. Second, when we started moving some of these applications onto the cloud, we realized that all our initial perception that latency might create problem, all were taken out, because we could see that some of the applications required continuous communication between applications which are on cloud and the application which are on-prem. And we could see that there's no latency problem. It worked seamlessly. For example, I gave the example of appraisal system. We could see that when we are building this application wherein good amount of data was coming from the on-prem system, which is the SAP systems, SAP systems, that data was also made available on cloud in a seamless manner. And we could see that user experience in fact improved because we were on cloud, because of CDN connectivity which some of these cloud providers were providing. It was easier for them to use this application from different part of the world with improved latency. Earlier, your applications were sitting on 1 or 2 data centers, and depending on the geography where they were hosted, the user experience varied. But then with the advent of cloud, we could take away that latency problem which used to happen earlier. User experience improved tremendously. That's one. Second, having said that, I would like to put all my applications, if I am allowed to, so that it improves the user experience drastically. But then there are certain compliance requirements wherein you need to ensure that some of your SOX applications remain on-prem, and that's what we have done. So depending on the compliance requirement, depending on cases where, for example, cloud will help in situations like where there are services available in cloud. For example, I talked about the appraisal system. If I had put that on the on-prem infrastructure, I would have never won. But when we moved on to cloud, it was a story which worked for all of us, including IT as well as the business. So I would say these were some of the factors we looked at when moving the infrastructure onto the cloud. Definitely cost was an important aspect. The kind of services which are available on cloud, for example, we talk of microservices.
How has that sort of benefited in the development and deployment cycle for you?
Business is expecting us to deliver products and services at a very shortened time. And how these microservices have helped us is, for example, earlier, if you have to write an application, you have to write millions and millions of lines of code. and it used to take time and effort. Now with the advent of microservices, you could use some of these services to bring down your overall product life cycle time. That's one. The second, the amount of effort you were putting to create these products or change or add certain features to these products, this overall cycle time has reduced drastically because of microservices. For example, IT used to spend close to about 2 months along with HR annually so that overall process goes smooth. Today, with usage of microservices, with application on cloud, I would say IT has stopped spending any effort on appraisal.
Wow.
And this has been possible because, as I said, infrastructure is taken care. You don't have to worry about if 70,000, 80,000 concurrent connections are there. It's auto scale, which is available to us because of cloud. Second, in terms of application, we are able to use these microservices. I talked about making appraisal system available anywhere, which has happened. Second, I am able to provide them an experience where if I am offline, I could write my appraisal, keep it saved, save it in my desktop, laptop, and whenever I am online, it just syncs back. It's, as an end user, I don't have to worry about whether I have my appraisal is completed or not. Application is able to take care of that. I've been able to solve one, productivity, user experience, and I would say it has been a winner for me this year.
Now, you talked about appraisals. I mean, I'm also traveling and most of the time doing all kinds of approvals, right? I mean, appraisal is one aspect, expenses, etc. I'm assuming even you've gone through a cycle of a variety of approvals. I log into at least a couple of portals a day to go off and finish off my approvals. Have you had an interesting approach with that?
Definitely. See, 4 years back, I used to at least log into 12 different applications.
12 applications?
12 different applications to see that the requests which are coming to me, I am able to approve them on time. And I would say I used to spend at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes every morning so that I ensure that I complete all my approvals. Yeah. And there were a lot of managers within Wipro who used to go through this problem. And what we have done is all these appraisals have become part of our intranet. All these approvals come at one place. I don't have to worry about logging on to, first of all, knowing that there are 12 different systems or 15 different systems where I need to go and do my approvals. It's one system where I can look at all the requests
so
pending.
Centralized, all pending, click, I'm done.
Click, and I'm
Phenomenal.
done.
Phenomenal.
And I would say I spend maximum 10 minutes now to do, because I have to evaluate some of those approvals. Otherwise, it just takes time.
Really, really cool. Really cool. Let's talk about technologies you've used, right? Clearly, Microsoft has had a very strong partnership, a long partnership. What elements of technologies, from us have you benefited from?
See, today at Wipro, we are using Office 365, which takes care of all our office needs. Second, we are using Azure. So I would say close to 80 to 85% of our internal application landscape is hosted on Azure today. Third, for managing these servers on Azure, we have started using OMS recently. And today I have a full visibility of what infrastructure which is hosted on Azure, who are the people using it, how are they using it, how do I charge back to some of these service lines or business units. It has become a seamless process for internal IT today.
In closing, any other advice you would give to the community who's listening and would benefit from your vast experience in this space?
Cloud as a journey has evolved, and it's important that all of us adopt it. Unless you adopt it, you are going to miss the agility which these services or the offerings which cloud offers are really able to make that difference to you as well as your business.
Wonderful. Cloud is a journey which has evolved, right? If you don't adopt it, you might miss on the agility. And you heard the wonderful stories about employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction, cost improvement, infrastructure improvement, agility. I hope this benefits you. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate your insights.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.